Welcome back to another informative and exciting episode of podcast where we cover everything cannabis and hemp. If you haven't subscribed yet to our channel, please do so, as this will help us sustain our channel. And remember to cannabis responsibly at all times. Welcome to another episode of podcast. I'm sitting here with Ms Bloem. How are you, ma'am?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I am always good. Thank you for asking. Can you please explain to the viewers who you are, what are you doing, and why it's crucial for people to know who you guys are? I know it's very important, but just explain to the viewers, please.
Of course, sure. So I am part of a company called AfriHemp. I am a technical consultant for them. My background's in architecture, so obviously I'm very passionate about the technical properties of this specific hemp block and also the hemp systems, the block systems. So basically, yes, it all happened a few years ago when, we all had our own journey on looking into alternative building materials, and especially in the hemp sort of field, seeing that the qualities that hemp buildings bring to, sort of the building industry is amazing. Because, yes, of course, there's different angles you can look at this. There's technical, there's economical, there's environmental, there's social, there's all different aspects to any product always. But I think in this regard, we were very excited about especially the technical properties, but also the environmental properties that this specific product could bring to the market. I think that on the one side, with the technical, a hemp block, on this specific one, we have achieved a 120-minute fire rating, which is quite amazing if you compare it to a standard sort of brick, that ROK brick that you use to build, which gets 60 minutes.
Can I just ask you to explain that for those who do not know what the fire rating is?
Sure.
Okay.
So when you do build a house, and you need to obviously comply to building code of South Africa. Okay. So because this is a new product, we obviously have to test every aspect of it to actually have a benchmark that we can compare it to, and that being an AgriMA certificate. So if you have that certificate, you can get a bond from the bank and you can actually get money to build a house that is with him. So so on the technical side with the fire rating, is what's exciting about it is that if you look at other products with the same thickness, then they achieve about 60-minute fire rating. So this is double the amount. And if you build skyscrapers in that sense, then you don't need alternative sort of insulations and all kinds of things to beef up your wall to actually achieve the 120 minutes, So you can actually just use one product. So that is on the technical side. Of course, the insulation, this is an insulation product. So in Europe with the same recipe, we at the moment busy with our technical spec on that, our testing. But in Europe with the same recipe for the hempcrete, you achieve 2.5 sort of R value. Now, why this is important is if you consider in the bigger scheme of things when it comes to carbon emissions and saving energy in your house to actually achieve better energy efficiency in your house, you see that you need to consider the conductivity of a product. So if you look at insulations, I think pink or rock wool, all of that, they have all a rating. Okay, so this guy, if this could rate 2.5 R value, that is amazing compared to a normal brick, because a normal brick only gets 0.45 R value. Now this is all very technical, I know, because this
but
is
I love
I'm
that.
passionate about.
I'm so loving this.
But I think what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to also just bring a little bit of awareness, that there is obviously a conventional system that we so easily just kind of get trapped into, just because we feel okay, wait a minute, we need to all have brick and mortar homes. But at the end of the day, if you compare apples with apples here, then this guy is going to outperform all of that, and then have a lovely, some of the houses that you go into, they will be so hot in the summer, they will be so cold in the winter, but if you have something like this, it regulates the temperature in your house. It regulates the humidity levels in your house. If you live, say, in KZN or wherever, Eastern Cape, where it's very humid, Limpopo, then you can regulate. It regulates it like automatically. But our system is breathable, so we don't use any cement. We only use old school lime plaster with the hemp blocks, and that breathes. It's waterproof, of course, but it breathes. So when it's hot inside, it breathes the hot air out. When it's cold inside, it breathes the hot air in. So it regulates the temperature. It's crazy. It's super crazy. I mean, yeah. So I mean, and obviously because hemp plants. So you asked what is the difference between sort of cannabis, and hemp. So the way I understand it is, and I'm not at all, I mean, my technical is my forte, but the way I understand it is that cannabis is sort of the overarching species, and then it is broken into two different angles. The one is the low THC, which is called hemp, and then the high THC, which is called marijuana. Okay. So on this side, so we can use both sides, but all we use is a stalk. I should have brought you a stalk, but so it's like the core part of the actual plant that we use. We chip it up and then we use it for. So these fibers that you see
is that.
It's basically that. So the ideal thing with hemp is that it is more specifically, especially industrial hemp that's grown for bricks, is that it's a very long stalk and it has a little bit of fluffy, sort of leaves at the top. So there's not a lot of there's no flowers or no buds or anything. So it's literally just the stalk that we focus on. So. But
I'm so interested you basically just gave me a course in a space of 5 minutes. I know so much now about hemp. So what I want to find out from you is, where is the hemp within the industry? How far is it now? Because I know the cannabis industry is so saturated right now, right? Cannabis, but hemp, I know people are still easing into it, but how far are you guys in regards to that?
So very exciting. I mean, the end of last year, I think it was November, the president announced that Dalrod announced that that the hemp permits are now open to apply for. So now obviously that process will obviously have some learning curves and all of this.
But I know the application is ending March, right?
I'm not sure if there's. I don't know if there's if there's only a window and if it's open-ended. I'm not too sure on that side. But But what I do know is that, of course, if you are keen to grow industrial hemp, then you have to apply to this to Dalrod for a industrial hemp permit. Now, what makes it different is that with the medicinal side is, I know that you have very many rules. You need to grow it inside, different tunnels and things. But with this, it's obviously it will just be grown on your farm. So it will just be open skies, open sunlight, all of that. So on the permit side of things, I think that will obviously have a little bit of a sort of growing process. And we know with policies and things, South Africa is probably one of the countries in the world that has the most complex policy, sort of ways, and which is not a bad thing, but it is. It has a lot of red tape and things like that, so which we just need to go through. Exactly.
No, that is so wonderful to hear, and I wish you all the luck in this.
Thank
you. Do you guys host workshops?
We do. So at the moment we focus on educating architects and builders and engineers and so on. On the professional side, we have a CPD course, category 1, which is free, which is not something you always get because you always have to pay for category 1 points, at the building center in Cape Town. So I'm sure if people want to reach out, they can just contact the building center and find out, or they can follow us on Instagram also at AfriHemp.
Okay.
And then they can, because I will obviously post this. I think our first thing is for the end of April. I just need to confirm the date. But and then going from that, we will have we want to run courses for plasterers and bricklayers to actually just make the small transition to how to work with hemp. So I think that will be very interesting, but that might also play out in a project specific. So whoever is your subcontractors in this project, we can come and train them, and then they can know.
Awesome.
And then the third group is obviously maybe just general public, anyone that's interested, to have like a weekend course or a 2-day course where we show people how to actually build this. Because I mean, I know this is quite out there, but I mean, my personal dream, and this is not at all what AfriHemp is standing for, or what they think about it, and I'm sure, you know, just for obvious reasons, I can't speak on behalf of them, but I think for me, how cool will it be to actually grow your own, like, you know, hemp plants and then harvest them and then make bricks and then build a house. I mean, how cool is that? And
I know. It's brilliant.
So for me, I mean, that's something that I would love to see. I mean, we can help you with a mix, like to get the hempcrete fine, you know, but why not? I mean, I can think that is
something that should happen.
That is something that could happen. Absolutely.
No, thank you so much for coming on to our show, Ms Bloem. Please do just give your contacts again, where people can reach you, your handles, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, email if you want.
Sure. So basically, we're on Instagram at AfriHemp. At the moment, that's the only social media that we are sort of pursuing. Soon we'll be probably on LinkedIn as well and do a more like a professional side of things. But I think our website is afrihemp.co.za, and on there you can find a link to an e-brochure, you can find a link to some more technical information and more photos and things. But I think our Instagram is quite active in the sense that we try and educate, but we also try and make it fun and have, like, you know, some really valuable sort of input in technically how to use this, or have some interviews with plasterers, or have some interviews with structural engineers, you know, just have a little bit of a more playful side, you know, because LinkedIn is so serious.
Don't I know it? So business.
So business, you know.
I know. Are you guys, before we leave, are you guys speaking with your rural areas and your villages, you know? Because there's a lot of people who are growing this in the villages, like cannabis. You know, maybe you could then go in there and assist them to be more knowledgeable in terms of hemp. Are you guys engaging with villages and townships and stuff?
That would be an amazing, I mean, that's part of our dream, definitely, and that would be amazing if we can, I think we need to, at this point, just try and navigate ourselves through like all the loopholes with regarding the permits and all of that, because I think the aim of the government is to limit the amount of growing that you can do, which would be inclusive of people growing in a smaller scale, which is, I'm very excited about that. So for me, we are in contact with some guys in the Eastern Cape to connect with them that is already growing.
Is it Bondoland?
Yes, so this is obviously more on an experimental side, because we don't know if how dagga or marijuana will, you know, respond to, because the hemp that we grow for this is a very different plant, you know. So we'll have to probably find some like research sort of, you know, space where we can actually like research, like look into that a little bit. With regards to like Limpopo, we have some contacts there in the north of Limpopo, in Vembe district. And then, of course, I mean, even locally, like some of the Khoisan guys have approached us. So we're very keen on exactly that, what you're saying, is to actually bring everyone in and
benefit.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You know? I love that.
I think that is what I said in the beginning, you know, is that there's so many different layers to, you know, bringing in something like this. But I think social and socio-economical is a very important part of this as well for us. As well as, you know, like just the sequestration of carbon dioxide, you know. So it's equally important, and we know how important both of them are in South Africa, you know. So So I'm very excited.
No, I'm excited to hear this. Like literally, I'm so excited. And it seems as though you are not just saying this because you guys have already implemented this. So this is something that's already happening.
Yes.
It's not something that's going to happen.
Yes,
so
exactly.
I'm excited to hear this.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming onto our show, and I wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
You guys are doing greatness. So continue what you're doing.
Thank you, and you. Have a lovely expo. Well, there's a few minutes left of it. But
yeah. Thank you so much. And on that note, remember to cannabis responsibly at all times. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Sorry,
Welcome back to another informative and exciting episode of podcast where we cover everything cannabis and hemp. If you haven't subscribed yet to our channel, please do so, as this will help us sustain our channel. And remember to cannabis responsibly at all times.